G'day and welcome to this Fmod tutorial where we're going to have a look at making a randomized playlist event with customized crossfade points. You might be able to use this for a world area or something where you have a bunch of songs and you want to play them one after the other or at random, but choose the length of the crossfades. And we'll also have some randomization in there, but sort of limit the randomization so that we don't need to include every song as a possible option to transition to. 'Cause some songs just don't transition from one to the other very well. Yeah, I mean, we're not going to look at anything at BPM matching or anything like that in this video, but just the basics of using transition timeline to fade from one song into the next with randomization. Okay, we're going to start out by making a playlist event. We'll call it playlist. Then we will add some tracks in. Now there's a couple of ways of doing this. You can have the tracks as their own events if you want to. We'll do that just to show you how that would be done. How we can set up some markers and things like that. The problem with doing it like this is you can't see where your fade out points are. So to do so, you can just go and see into the track and have a look where you want it to be. So say we can say this is bar 46. So we can stick in a transition at 46 and we'll add another track and we can put this one in, and this one's obviously a lot longer. And so we can go and say 85-ish. And so in here we can say bar 85. And then when we want to offset these so they don't play at once, we can just offset them like that. And then we'll just chuck these other ones in as their own tracks. And we can set out their transition points. And these are very arbitrary at the moment, but you get the idea. Now the problem with doing it like this is anytime you start it, no matter where you start, it starts from the beginning of the track, and that means that to transition to preview your transition, you have to listen to the whole song, which is kind of annoying. So usually I would just stick in the original for now, and then we can play with the actual event parts later on when we're finished and when we know it's completed. So now what we've got is we've got where we want our transitions, but we don't have any way of getting to the next songs. So what we'll do is we'll add some destination markers. Obviously song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4, call them what you want. I'll just leave them as marker. And then we need to tell these where we want them to go. So we set one to go to B, and then we can put another one in and make it go to C, and then put another one in to go to D. So now at the end of this song, it can go to either B, C, or D. Now with this, it will always go to B at this stage because we've got probability off, and even if we turn it on, the chance is on at 100%. So basically, I usually try and turn down to, if there's 3, 30%, if there's 2, 50%, 25 for 4, blah, blah, blah. And this just gives it a chance to skip a song and go to the next one. We always got to make sure that the bottom one, though, is at 100%. So we can either turn probability off or leave chance at 100%. And this just makes sure that there is somewhere for the markers to go. If you have probability on all of these with some chance on all of these, that means that it's going to potentially go to dead air for however long you've got a gap in between these two songs. So make sure that whatever you put in the bottom, it's always 100% on this. So with that in mind, we can jump in by double clicking the marker to put a transition timeline on it, and this is a little circle on top indicates a transition timeline, and we'll shorten this up. We'll zoom in by mouse wheel and Alt, and we'll just pull it back in to say 2 bars, maybe. Doesn't matter. And then we can pull these things in. We can fade that one in, fade that one out. And then this is specific to this transition. This is specific to from song A to song B. And so that's it for that. So now we can go to C, and then when we jump in here, we really don't want it to be 16 bars long. So maybe we only want this one to be 1 bar before it changes, so we can move that out of the way. And then we can fade them in, change your fade curves if you want to, just depends on how you want it. And then there we go. And then so song D as well, we might actually make this one a decent length one. So we just, for an example, let's make it 4 bars just for fun. There we go. And put some fades on. And we can close that up by double clicking. Now, that's obviously just this first one set up. So what we want to do is make sure that we can go to, on this one, we can go to A, and we'll drag it up so we're on a different line. And then we can copy this one across and this one across. And we can stick them on top of each other. So now this one will go, it'll check marker A, turn the probability down to, say, 30%. Now, the problem with this randomization is it's always going to go top to bottom. So it'll check if it's that, check if it's that, and it'll check, and then it'll go to the bottom one. But it's a good idea to move around where things are so it doesn't actually get the possibility of getting B all the time first, C all the time second, or, you know, in order. So basically you can move these around if you want, and basically you want it to be probably not to go back to the song that it was just at, but you really can't help that, I guess. But anyway, we can change this timeline from here to here, here to here, and then change how long it is. It might make sense to be longer or shorter, etc. And so with all of these, we may have to make sure that they line up properly, because obviously we don't want this to, we don't want that to be there at all anyway. And then we can fade them in. Close that, and then with D, get rid of that, and open up that, and crossfade that in. Okay, so it's a bit messy at the moment, but you get the idea. So now once we go to the end of the okay, so it's chosen to go to B. The next time we do it, and then it's going to C. It's got a D. So yeah, anyway, that's the basic setup, and you just can repeat this for all of your markers. You can go through, make sure everything's customizable. If you don't want song 2 to go into song 3, then you can just delete that marker so it won't go there, and the crossfade will actually be just exactly how you want it. So there's a lot of ways of a lot of freedom to do it the way that you want to do it with using this method. I'm sure there's other methods available, but this is the way I've been using it for a while. Yeah, if you have any comments or questions, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try and address them as quickly and as succinctly as I can. All right, thanks very much.